everybody, and welcome to another What's on the Shelf, and we're now on part 25. So on my 25th cubby, I have Settlers of Kitan, Kitan Seafarers, and Kitan Traders and Barbarian, as well as Smash Up. So I've had Settlers of Kitan for many years. This was one that I had before I got into board gaming, and honestly I wasn't into the board gaming hobby just because I didn't even know these games were out there, but I knew Kitan was out there, and we played Kitan a couple times a week for years. We played this one lots and often, and I'd have a friend that would come over with us and would play it all the time with us as well. It was great. I played this with my siblings a lot, but I gotta say, with my siblings, it tends to turn into fighting a lot more than with everything else, because you can trade with this one. So in this one, you place your your cities, well, your settlements, I guess, and then a road, and then each tile that this settlement is going to be touching has a different resource on it, and it has a different number on it, and we take turn rolling the dice. So if we roll a 6 and you're touching the tile that's a 6 and that gives you wood, well, then you get to take a wood card. And you also have this little card that have these recipes. So in order to build a road, you're going to need to have a wood, and you're going to need to have clay to build your road. If you're going to want to build a new settlement that has to be 2 spaces away from any other settlement, well, then you're going to need all these other resources. To upgrade your settlement into a city that makes your settlement, instead of be worth 1 point, worth 2 victory points now, well, that's going to cost you 2 wheat and 3 stones. So you want to collect your resources, so in order to have enough resources that you can build and develop your settlements. First one to reach 10 victory points is the winner. Such a neat game, but as I mentioned, you can trade, because maybe you've kind of got yourself set up. Well, and also when you roll a 7, that moves the robber. So a player can move the robber onto your wood, and now even if you roll that number, you're not going to be able to produce wood until this robber's been moved out. So it could be that you've got everything you need, but you really need sheep, and you might try and go and try to trade for that sheep. And we would get into disagreement where, it's like, okay, give me sheep. And no, sorry, I don't have any sheep. And then it's like, what? And then all of a sudden they trade sheep with your brother after the next round. And so it's a neat game. Honestly, it's one that can get frustrating depending on who you're playing with. But I'm enjoying this one quite a bit. We'll still bring it to the table from time to time. We've played this one a lot, so it's not one that I get the urge to play as often now, but still an amazing game. And my kids actually really enjoy this one quite a bit. Next one I have is an expansion for that, and it's the Seafarers. So with the Seafarers, you still build your Kitan board like you normally would, but you get these islands that are a little bit further away, and with this one, you need to send a ship over to reach them. Once you reach them, you can reveal what it is, so you don't know what resources are going to be available over there, if it's going to be helpful or not. So you kind of explore further away from the main island. It's very neat, and it kind of adds an element to the Kitan game as well. I also have Traders and Barbarian, and with this one too, what's interesting is you can play this in many different ways. I haven't played all the different ways that you can do yet. One of the things that I remember is it comes with a deck of cards, so instead of rolling the dice, it's the cards that you flip, so it's a little bit less luck driven, because you're gonna draw the card, but you know how many cards is in there, so it's not always going to be a 7 or an 8, or so it's a little bit less luck driven. Kind of make this game just kind of gives a different spin on the Kitan and keeps it fresh and interesting. Then the other game I have in my cubby is Smash Up. Smash Up is a neat game, and I do really enjoy this one. With this one, you have a deck of cards, and it's called Smash Up because you got 2 different factions that are completely unrelated. You could have the Ninja Ballerina, let's say, and then those are the cards you're playing with. And you'll have action cards and you have minion cards. With your minion cards, you're placing them on the base that are in the middle of the table. And these base has a number on the side that's the value you got to reach. So it could be, let's say, 24. So if I put a minion that's worth 4, well, now we've got 20 more we need to reach. Once you've reached the value of that base, then the base scores. And then depending on what it says, could be that, first player gets 10 points, second player also gets a point, and then third player gets 2. And it changes all the time. I've even seen bases where actually to be second place gives you more points than to be first place. It makes it very interesting, for sure. And then your action causes all sorts of things to do. So it could be that, well, you get to remove somebody else's minion from a base and you have to move them into another base. And it definitely has very strong take that element. But that's what the game is all about. So I find when that's what the game is, it's not as frustrating. And it's been such an interesting game. And then because of those different factions that you can kind of change it up, it changes up the game often. And that was actually it for this cubby. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, my Facebook group is Didsbury and Area is Playing All the Game. I'm also on Instagram as BoardGame_Mama, and my YouTube channel is BoardGame Mama. So thanks everybody, and we'll see you at the next What's on the Shelf.